All right, let's do this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Uper Farmer Cigar. We're back in the garage. Mosquitoes are out in force. Usually I risk them for you fine folks, but we have a special guest. Say hello.
Hello.
Yes, my wife is having me napalm the outside of my garage with every citronella candle there is.
Oh, that's not true. There's another one upstairs.
We'll show you a little. No, I brought the one from upstairs. See? Garage door's open. That's close enough to actually being. We'll call this one Deck 2.0. Anyway, how are y'all doing? We're doing pretty good. We have an interesting topic to talk about tonight. My wife shot down the first topic idea. It was going to be Rona's Remembers 3.0, but she's like, nah, that's already done with. We're done with that. We don't talk about Rona. No. Okay.
I think that's trademark.
That's why I didn't say the actual words. What are we smoking? What are we drinking? I am smoking the Placencio 1-4. I don't know if that's a B or a 6. Is that a B or a 6, do you think?
I think it's supposed to be a 6.
Probably a 6. I don't speak I don't sprechen the language this is written in, but I think it's either Cuban or Habana or Spanish or Portuguese or...
I don't know.
But I do know it's Placencia. That one I know just because I watched a video and the guy was reviewing Placencia cigars, so I kind of cheated.
Unless he said it wrong, too.
No, he makes enough. He knows. The drink tonight, the jam jar. That's right, we're going with something kind of fruity. Unapologetic fruit, a delicious blend of fruity farmhouse ale and sour ale. All ale brewed with blackberries, plums, raspberries, and blueberries. You might even be able to drink this one.
That sounds weird.
That sounds weird. While I pour mine, what are you drinking tonight, honey?
Mudslide mix.
You guys show it to the camera.
I can't
There you
see
go.
the
Yeah, that's
camera.
fine. There's the camera. Mudslide. With crushed ice, no less. Your husband must love you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, to the top of the glass.
Well, that's really red.
That's red. That's delicious, I bet. All right, that can keep the name Jam Jar. That's delicious. That's a good summertime ale. So, honey, you shot down Rona's Remember 3.0. What did you come up with?
Well, I didn't come up with anything. I just suggested that Rodents Remember 3.0 might be less accurate than World War III.
World War III, honey, we're not. How can we remember something that isn't actually official yet?
Oh, I'm not remembering it. I was just saying we should maybe mention it.
Mention it. So you guys know, officially, the week this video is shot, Pope Francis came out. He was asked in an interview why he hasn't condemned the Ukraine-Russia invasion going on. And he basically said, I can't know, I should really grab the direct quote before I misquote a Pope. That's kind of embarrassing.
Do you know
But
what?
basically he said we're already in World War III. We have been in World War III, for his estimate, the better part of a year, with everything going on, with all the conflicts going on, that we are, as a world, already in World War III. Historians will look back and say it started early 2022 or late 2021. So we wanted to get ahead of the 8 ball. We kind of didn't do the Rona's memoirs, if you will. We kind of talked about it, how we should have been doing it through the whole process. It's my viewpoint and the Pope's viewpoint and a lot of other people's viewpoint that yes, although it hasn't been voted on by the Senate, we are officially in World War III. So, tonight, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what we saw leading up to this, where we're at now, and what we're doing in our own lives to face this reality that we're in. The reality that we are experiencing the next major world war. So,
I have the quote if you want.
please quote the Pope.
World War III has been declared, Pope Francis said, in a wide-ranging conversation with the editors of a Jesuit publication. The world is at war. For me today, World War III has been declared. This is something that should give us pause for thought. What is happening to humanity that we have had 3 world wars in a century? And then he went on to talk about Ukraine and Russia. And he did denounce, actually. I think it's unfair for people to be saying that he didn't say anything wrong. He denounced the brutality and ferocity of the Russian troops and praised the heroism and courage of the Ukrainians at the same time. But he did say, we do not see the whole drama behind the war, which was perhaps somehow either provoked or not prevented. So he does denounce what they're doing, but he says we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, essentially.
There's more of the cloak and dagger, more of the modern warfare, we call it. So you heard it here. The Pope actually has chimed in. He believes World War III has started. I personally believe World War III has started. What about you, dear?
I don't want to believe it has started, but I'm not going to deny that it doesn't look good. It definitely looks like it's there on the horizon.
So you know the dynamic in our household. My job is to monitor wars and plagues and all the whatnot. So I've been following a lot of official news medias, alternative news media, boots on the ground, trying to do the evaluating sources, trying to get a wide range of information. Of course, I have to do this like every other day, because if I was to do it every day, I'm pretty sure I'd be in a very dark and depressing place by now. But so we're trying to keep tabs on what's going on. But yes, I firmly believe we're already in it. Do we have our Franz Ferdinand incident yet? No. I do believe that's coming.
Well, so if you want to go back to what the Pope says, he believes that what NATO did was basically barking at the gates of Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And that they don't understand that Russians are imperialists and will allow no foreign power to approach them. So he does put some of the responsibility on NATO.
Yep.
But he said something which I kind of found interesting, and I wanted to read it because I don't want to get the quote wrong. I am simply against reducing complexity to the distinction between good guys and bad guys without reasoning about roots and interests which are complex. So he doesn't want to say that Russia is bad, and he doesn't want to say that the Ukraine is good, because he believes that there's a lot more going on underneath and behind the scenes that led to this. And he doesn't want people to view all Russians as bad or wrong.
And it really shouldn't be. It's really sad when I hear people, describing Russia as like the boogeyman, because at one level it made sense. I guess we're supposed to call them the Ruskies, not the Russians, because they'll get flagged. But whatever. I have like 30 people watching this, so it's all good. And I'm not a Russian sympathizer, but I do know some people from Russia. I actually have a Russian company I was dealing with, but they have now went dark. I can't access their website, Facebook, whatever. But, Ukraine really they were building up forces and military, and there was rumors that they had nukes. And it's interesting, a lot of people are comparing what's happening now in Russia to what happened with the U.S. and Cuba. Cuba. So Russia sent nukes to Cuba, and after the failed Bay of Pigs assault, after the U.S. tried to go in and capture Cuba and failed miserably, the Russians sent in nukes. Well, now you have which everyone agrees that was wrong of Russia to do. But now you have Russia doing their own Bay of Pigs against Ukraine, and now we're sending Ukraine advanced weapons and possibly nukes. So the tables have turned. So whether or not you actually believe that, again, I don't condone the invasion. I'm not a Russian sympathizer. I just know there's always more to the story than is ever led. When you research any historical war, there's there's always more to it.
Except the War of the Roses.
Explain this, please.
Oh, the War of the Roses was all about families trying to be in control. So there was no, like, everybody admitted that the reason why they were fighting was because this one wanted control of the country over that one. And hundreds and hundreds of years ago, obviously. So not very relevant to today's fighting standards.
Again, though, you have to understand both sides. Why would both sides fight? I mean, even like the Revolutionary War, which we see as like we had to win it, and we demonize the Europe and Great Britain and how evil they were to try to keep us subjugated. But I mean, they financed us coming over here. They sent guards. They sent supplies. You have to look at it from both sides. Like, they set us up and also are like, hey, yeah, thanks for what you gave us. Bye. Not that I'm pro or anti-Revolutionary War, of course, because it's what gave us our freedoms we have today. But you at least have to acknowledge both sides of what happened. You do have to do that with any war. I mean, no conflict can be one-sided. You have to look at both sides. But before we get too deep into the geopolitical climate and what got us to this point, what are you feeling?
As in?
So, we both agree, the Pope agrees with us, that we're in World War III. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings?
I reluctantly agree. I don't want to see it that way. I'm just realistic enough to say that it if it's not already here, it's definitely on the horizon.
Yep.
Like it's.
Well, again, we haven't had the Ferdinand assassination,
Mm-hmm.
shall we say? The diplomat who gets killed, and we haven't had our Pearl Harbor yet, shall we say? But I mean, we were already sending troops over to Europe before Pearl Harbor. We were already sending aid and advisors to, over before Franz Ferdinand got assassinated. There was already a build-up. So I think that's the period we're in. We have not had all right, this sparked it off.
But as Americans, I think we're a little bit distracted with other things happening in our country. So I don't know that we will see that. Like, I don't know that you'll see a sudden, like...
I think we'll definitely come to a point.
Because that's a straw. Like, I don't think we'll see the straw that broke the camel's back right now. Like, Pearl Harbor was a straw, a day that will live on in infamy, as FDR would have said. But, like, it was definitely a straw. Right now, none of the countries in Europe or anywhere else really need to attack us. We're doing a good job on our own. We're fighting amongst ourselves so much,
correct.
and so powerfully that, like, as far as being a world power goes and stuff, we're not an intimidation to any other country to prevent them or to inspire. Like, I don't see us being the power that we were in World War I or World War II, where we really did tip the scales. I don't know if that'll happen this time.
No, it'll be interesting to see.
We have so much division right now that I just don't know.
It would be, I mean, granted, I hope it never happens. Let's just throw the disclaimer out there. You got to throw the disclaimer. I hope we don't actually have to have the vote for war. But it'd be very interesting, like World War II, for us to enter it. I know it passed the Senate like 255-1. There was one person who voted no, not to enter World War II. And when it was actually a female senator, and she was questioned as to why you'd vote no, and she said, I voted no purely for the small portion of the United States that does not want to go to war, because there is people who do not want to go to war. They don't want to see it. They don't want to do it. They want to remain more neutral in this conflict. So even though she fully supports the war, she felt she had to support that 1%. But still, 99% of the senators. So I'd be very interested if we do that Ferdinand assassination event. Would we actually have
a
declaration? Like, would we actually have a quorum of people who voted? And which side would vote yes, which side would vote no? Like, what if the president called for it? The president currently is Vice President Biden. would if he declared war, would the warmongering Republicans, as he puts them out, vote for or against it? Would the peace-mongering Democrats vote for or against it? I mean, what we're seeing is that the Democrats would actually vote yes, let's go to war, while Republicans would vote no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how Congress would react. Now, obviously, there's only so much Biden can legally do without support of Congress. So he can't, Biden can't declare war. He only has a limited, I mean, it's still a large number, but he has a limited number of troops he can deploy. Thankfully.
Well, we're not deploying troops. We're sending like $40 billion worth of aid.
But I think that's limited too. Like, there is probably a cutoff, a maximum, where he can't send any more.
No, that's voted by Senate.
Now, I don't know what that is, but the president can't make that decision alone, as far as I understand it. So.
That was voted by the House and Senate to send this $40 billion, trillion.
But it's not like it's willy-nilly, okay, I just want to send this. It was very, it's not just one person's choice.
Yeah, it was debated.
It has to be determined and voted on and all that.
And I think historians will look back, and when we sent the $40 billion worth of weaponry, I think they'll say, well, that was us entering the war. I mean, it was above and beyond what the president could send.
But they don't say that about us. I mean, you had American soldiers flying with the RAF, which was the Royal Air Force, and stuff long before we actually entered into the war, before Pearl Harbor ever happened. But that didn't, historians don't go look at that and say that was us entering the war. They say, we were there, but we don't enter the war until Congress declares
True, but
it.
I think they're going to look at this was an actual vote by Congress to send weapons.
Perhaps, but we sent aid.
We sent soldiers. I mean, not to
We
say
also
soldiers.
sent aid too. We sent food.
I don't know if we sent weapons. And
the Lusitania.
the Lusitania was a medical ship, honey.
Sure, yes.
Are you a conspiracy theorist with the Lusitania? Tell me, honey, what was the Lusitania actually carrying?
I would say it was carrying munitions, at least some munitions and people.
Why was it carrying munitions? Why do you think that?
Why do I believe that? Because
was it
even
the fact
now you still can't, they won't bring it up and you can't dive around it because it's a high, there's a high risk.
Was it the fact that one torpedo hit it and it blew it up like it's 17 torpedoes hit it? Even though the captain swears on a stack of Bibles that just one torpedo hit the side of it.
Right. There's definitely some...
Honey, it was injured people. That's all the Lusitania was holding.
Yes, just people.
People are very combustible. I don't know if you know this, but...
They must have been those people that suddenly go up in flames.
Right, spontaneous human combustion.
Anyhow, so yes, I do think that there was a little bit more involved.
Well, I'm kind of leaning towards when historians look back, they're going to say when we passed the $40 billion, that's when we entered the war.
I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. But let's talk more local. So we know this is at least a probability. If you do your threat assessment, we always do the high casualty, low probability, high casualty, high probability, low casualty, high probability, and then low casualty, low probability. Where would you stick this?
I'm not sure. I would say that where we are, in our exact location, where we are, I don't think we would be highly affected by actual physical war. What I think we would see would be supply shortages and,
But you think it's a high probability we're going to hit those supply shortages and...
Well, unfortunately, we're still
ration.
recovering from COVID, and there's so many other things. There's so many other things going on because of the pipelines being down and da-da-da-da-da. So I don't think this is the war in Russia or the World War or whatever. I don't think that's what's going to lead to all of these. I think that's going to compound them. I think we're going to experience that whether this progresses further or not.
But you do believe there's a high probability it will progress further.
I definitely see that we're going to have some more trouble. I
Okay.
definitely would anticipate some difficulty finding certain supplies and finding.
So let's talk about that
things.
one. There's been a couple of significant events that you've been like, we need to do something just to make sure we can provide a sense of normalcy to our children.
And what was that?
So every holiday, Christmas, Easter, birthdays, you have been Johnny on the spot months beforehand, many months sometimes. We need to order their Christmas gifts. We need to get their Easter gifts. We need to get their birthday presents.
But was I wrong?
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying we're looking at judging your probability of something happening. It's something we're doing. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with it at all.
Well, and like I admit, like some of this stuff that I've ordered has like I've ordered months in advance, but then there's things that I ordered 2 months in advance that came in 2 days before we
So-
like.
Before our son had his birthday, we ordered him a very unique Godzilla sweater. It is 60 years of
65 years.
65 years, or at the bottom said, of believing or fear monsters and death and destruction.
Supported. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember what it says, but anyhow, we ordered that. I want to say in February or March. It must have been March.
No.
Was it later than March? I thought it was like 3 months before.
I think it was April.
Was it
I
April?
Because I think I ordered it when I was ordering Easter stuff, but I might be wrong.
It was after Easter. And we literally got it the week before his birthday.
Yeah, it literally just came in.
We're definitely seeing the shrinkflation. We're seeing inflation. We're seeing stuff that is, it's harder to get some of those.
Even, oddly enough, it's random stuff too. Like trying to buy, and I don't know if anybody out there has had the issue of trying to order or buy in store spaghetti noodles.
Yeah.
Those have been really hard to get. It's kind of some random stuff. Now, we've never formula fed, and our kids are old enough not to have formula now or need it. But, like, that was a huge, huge ordeal. And there's so many people who have been struggling with that. And then there's going to be another delay because one of the factories, I think downstate, flooded. It flooded, and so they had to shut down temporarily. I think it was only for like the day or two or whatever until they could clean it out.
But they're talking about having to inspect them again. They're waiting for a federal inspector to come back to inspect them after the flood to make sure they cleaned it up.
Okay, so yeah, so I mean, just as we're like have hope that this is over, it's gonna like another natural event and.
Well, it's kind of crazy. You have people who are like, they're searching their closets to find like expired formula that they had when their now 3-year-old was using when they were 18 months, that are now like offering them up for sale or for giveaway.
I've seen a lot for giveaway.
A lot for giveaway. I'll give those.
I haven't seen a lot
parents.
for sale.
I'm sure there's some unscrupulous people out there, but I have seen a lot like, hey, just so you know, this is either expired or near expired. We don't need it anymore, though. First come, first serve type stuff. So, good for them. I mean, that is a horrible, horrible thing. I guess they said, I was talking to one of my hospital friends, and they said it's a daily occurrence in this rural hospital where moms are bringing their babies because they're emaciated. They're starving. They can't find food for them, and the hospital has to produce some sort of formula to feed them. So they keep them overnight to feed them and send the mom home with what they can, but they do know the next day some other mother is going to come in with a baby who they just can't find formula to feed them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's so, I can't imagine being those parents. Like, that's got to be so scary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's the old pet canned
the
formula,
pet canned milk.
And, like, there's a bunch of, like, there's options, I guess, but they're not the safest, and they're certainly not necessarily the best.
Well, they're not the most nutritious. They're safe because it's canned milk. And, I mean, now the ones that kind of make me scared is I start seeing some of my crunchy friends who are posting goat milk, like how to use raw goat milk to feed your child, which that just scares the dickens out of me. Like, I can't imagine. But yeah, like you said, that's not affecting us. Our freeze dryer definitely got used and abused the last few months. In case you're wondering, it is now, what do you say, in storage mode?
Yeah. Definitely don't try to use one of those in warm weather.
Yeah.
The pumps do not like the heat. And they will let you know it. They actually, there's a little alert that comes up on the screen saying the room is quite warm. We put a fan on it. It resolved the issue pretty quickly.
Helped a little bit, but we had 90-degree days the last 2 days now, and it looks about much of the same coming up here soon.
Yeah, so it will definitely be in rest mode, and we'll be freezing or whatever we can until then.
Yeah, that's the plan, is to freeze stuff in tray shape, and then once the temperatures drop, we'll hit the freeze dryer hard again. I did also, I don't know if I told you, I put on there a voltmeter.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You didn't order it, but I
didn't order it. I put it on the wish list. So
it was funny because I went on there because I wanted to see if the birthday present was going to arrive on time. And I saw something in the shopping cart, and I'm like, oh, did I forget something? And I looked at him, I know. And I knew instantly when I saw it. I was like, oh, that's because of the freeze dryer. He wants to see the freeze dryer.
So truthfully, between maple syruping and running the freeze dryer, I honestly don't know how much power that thing sucks down. It looks like right now it's going to cost us an extra $100 a month to run it.
Which might go down when it's cooler, though.
It might go down as cooler, and that might be, again, it's kind of blurred when we stopped. So you guys know we did maple syrup, as I've talked about. We do not have the outdoor evaporator set up. So we run our stove, which is what we run our evaporator on. Smart? Nope, probably not. But hey, it's what we got. Plus, we can get around a few state regulations by doing it in the stove instead of outside, or on the stovetop. So it's hard to say whether or not that was truly $100 that it cost us to run the freeze dryer, or was that also kind of bleed over from maple syruping, which the maple syruping, we had the oven on from like 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. on high.
Well, and pre-freezing, I think, will really make a huge difference to how it works. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that.
Mm-hmm. And I talked a little bit already. The video probably hasn't posted. I'll post before or after this one about the revelation we had about zucchini.
Oh, the zucchini flour. And being able to use it for zucchini flour. Actually, somebody else told me something excellent you could do with zucchini, and I was equally shocked and like, wow, that's something to try. I can't remember what it was right now. I was told you could pickle zucchini too, like pickles.
Pickle zucchini, there you go.
But there was something else. I don't remember what it was. I'm really anxious or excited, I guess, to try the flour to see how that works.
Well, you better be, because we planted, how many, was it 8 mounds?
I'm not even counting. I'm not. No.
8, 10 mounds. I
mean, it better turn out awesome.
my dad is probably, he's got a twinge in his back or something. Just the thought of having that much zucchini.
Right.
It whether or not it's something we do like or not, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna flour it, yeah. That many mounds of zucchini. Hopefully they take. I'm a little nervous.
Oh, they'll take.
We'll see.
I've never seen. I don't know if it's just a Uper farmer green thumb curse, but I mean everything else will die just like it did last year. Everything else, we had some wins. We had a lot of losses. But zucchini was, I mean...
Cucumbers.
Cukes were pretty good. We did have quite a few cukes, you're right. But the zucchini was, I mean, we had the, one of Wild and Free Wolf's teachers was like, well, I can't get any to grow. So we sent her like 12, and she's like, I don't want any more.
Right.
Like, can you just leave this in the food pantry? Well, you asked for it.
No. I actually had somebody at the farmer's market today who came up to talk to me, and she told me, she's like, you need to make sure you have the potatoes planted in your garden. She told me potatoes, you need the eggs from your chickens, and there was something else she told me. to just start stocking up.
Stock up on them.
And
it's sad because we have so many people at the farmers markets, the old time farmers, who are saying that exact same thing.
but it's what I think is making it more maybe more real is the fact that it's not just people at the farmers market, not just older people.
Okay, well why don't you explain what happened at your, because this one still I'm
So
trying to wrap my mind
I
around.
have beautiful nails. I don't know if you can see
Those
them.
are beautiful red. Look at those. What are those called?
These are Color Street. I think this is a cranberry, something
Ooh,
cranberry.
cranberries.
And I went to a Color Street house party from a lady I know who sells Color Street. I am not usually a nail person. I do not like to do my nails because it's tedious work and I'm not good at it. It's just not my thing. But she introduced me to these pre-done nail strips where you basically, it's like putting a sticker on your nail. It looks lovely. They last, 1 to 4 weeks depending on who you are and how much you use your hands. And they have all different designs. So I went to the Color Street party, and mostly I went to the party to socialize with other moms, and because, she's another homeschool mom, I like to support other homeschool moms doing their thing. But while I was there, it was interesting because I talked to people who own businesses, other women whose husbands own businesses or they own businesses. Multiple different women from every age group were there.
Well, age group, social, economical,
Yes.
class.
New
moms to old moms to moms who have grandbabies to.
Yeah, so everybody from the age of maybe 20. Well, I think the youngest was probably 22 would be my guess, up to probably 60. And what I found most interesting is some of these are career women, some of these are stay-at-home moms, some of these women have a very high education level background, and some of them they don't. And it was pretty unanimous, okay, people are really thinking that this is time to start prepping and prepare food and stockpile and have your own garden, and you need to have your own prepared food and stuff stored up. And the conversation started kind of randomly, but by the time I left, I think I've probably convinced 2 people to buy a freeze dryer. I should
either buy them or rent
something or whatever.
Rent space in ours.
I should see if I can get some money from the freeze dry company for supporting their products.
Either from Tractor Supply or Harvest, right? Because you're a little saleswoman.
So there were 2 who were like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna go get one now." That makes hearing you talk about how it works and stuff. I might actually go buy one. But yes, it was rather shocking because the people at the farmers market, some people who go there, they're a bit conspiracy theorists.
There's some
Whole Foods. I want there are people who just, I don't want something that's been sprayed. I don't want something that's been treated or processed or whatever. And those people tend to do their own things anyway. They might buy their fresh veggies or whatever from a farmer they know, and then they process them and everything themselves. So they're not truly a prepper in the sense that they're preparing for something, but they're a prepper in the sense that they want to know what's in their food.
Yeah, they want to know what's in their food.
And they're very
higher
aware.
quality food, yeah.
Yeah, so...
and to be fair, more of the prepper type, especially the crazy ones, are usually find me on Saturday when I do come to the farmer's market.
Right. Yeah, so I was shocked, though, at this, you have everybody from executives or married to business owners who make quite a...
And soccer moms.
And soccer moms, homeschool moms, stay-at-home moms.
Stay-at-homes, professional moms.
Who all basically in the course of that evening were like, yep, things are coming and I want to be prepared. So I found that equally shocking, and it kind of tells you okay, it's vindicating in a way, okay, I'm not the only one who's worried about this or seeing something coming or whatnot. But also a little scary, if some of these people who you could probably don't normally concern themselves with something like this, they're getting a little concerned.
They're getting a little freaked out.
Maybe I'm not concerned enough.
Right.
So,
and it's very true, because the last farmer's market that I went to, I can only go to the ones on Saturday, I mean, I had two guys. I think you were still getting stuff. You were shuttling stuff or something. And I carry a gun when I go to the farmers markets. I believe in protecting my four beautiful daughters and the money bag. And, you know, I'm firm to a supporter. So again, that kind of gives me the little bit of the, puts me on the radar, shall we say, of certain individuals. And two guys came up to me and we had a long conspiratorial, like, you know, it's a good thing you got your kids doing this, but, you know, you really, one guy was like, you should not be selling any of this. You should pack up all this, all the jams and all the prepared meals we're selling, and you make a, you know, put that in your cold storage or your you know, wherever you can, and you need to stop selling it and start making more of it. And he was even like, I explained what our kids do. I mean, we just, I think that the week before that, we just slaughtered off what, eight chickens. Well, 10 chickens total, but 2 of them turned out to be
we decided not to process.
Unredeemable to process. So I mean, he was just enamored. He's like, "Oh my God, your kids actually help you slaughter?" I'm like, "Yeah, my son butchered 3 birds himself." And you know, and then when it comes down to rabbits, my oldest daughter, although she won't do the dispatching process, she'll help out and do her part. And then he was just shocked that, you know, I mean, he was one of the ones, we get this probably 2 times a month. At least when I'm there. Now I can't be there during the week because of my job. But you get people who quiz the kids on how you make, because they don't believe. We tell them, and this is the kids' business. They make all the jams, and the only part they don't do is the hot water bath, because that's kind of...
It's boiling. It's boiling. Dangerous.
It's a little dangerous. I mean, not that that's anything they couldn't do. I mean, definitely they could pull cans out of boiling water, but you know, you get a few little boiling burns.
Vashman has like pulled them out for me.
He's done that before, so it's something that I do, just because, you know, it's whatever, I'll do that part. But it's fun. He quizzed him. He's like, "Oh yeah, okay. So if you're making blueberry jam, what do you have to do? Oh, you got to add a little bit of lemon juice to it, or else it won't congeal." That's right. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Okay, what else do you have to do? How long do you boil your jars for? Well, 10 minutes is the minimum, but Dad says we really need to do it for 15 minutes at least, if not 20, just to make sure they're the premium sterilized and processed so that they last the longest. And the guy just got this big smile. He's like, "Yep, yes, you do." He was a fun guy to talk to, but again, it is interesting. Like, my most exposure is to the farmer's market, which you do have a lot more preppers going through that. But it was when you came home from that nail party and you told me the wide swath of individuals. It was quite interesting.
I have to admit, like, I came home and I was equal parts like, okay, it's not just us. Like, we're not the only ones seeing this and feeling this way. But also, oh my gosh.
Right.
Like, are we doing enough? Because some of these people are doing this and they have very small families, or their kids are moved out because some of them are older.
And some who you'd expect to be pessimistic about it. Like the ones who would be that's not, no, that's not a thing, whatever. None of my sisters actually follow this channel, but I'm going to call them out. They're the ones who did, well, that's not a thing. That's not.
You know, I think if COVID has hit people the way that it's hit some of us here in the UP with shortages and not being able to get things, and I think if it's hit them like that, then they're more inclined to believe that.
Right.
Like, I think that's maybe why I'm seeing it so much up here. Like, we're used to having to prepare for a week-long winter storm. And we're used to having to be prepared for,
the random power outage that
the
happens
random
bright
power
and sunny.
outages that happens on a beautiful, sunny day. So
that happened, by the way, today, folks,
yes,
just so you know.
That happened, totally. So I think that maybe we're more inclined to feel the need to prepare. But at the same time, it's not just people here that I've heard are like, okay, no, we need to prepare for this. We need to get ready. I think there's people all around doing that. So, but I think COVID taught a lot of people, or really shocked a lot of people into realizing that this isn't like what we have right now is a delicate system.
It's not transitory,
Yeah.
as our former governor liked to say. It's just transitory.
Yeah, no, this is a delicate system, and one little thing goes wrong, and it's going to cascade into, 10, 20, 30 things. That's why I'm ordering stuff for birthdays that don't happen until September, and,
Well, that's why I had a tooth removed that probably could have waited a year or two. I didn't really want it to, but it's, you know what? Let's just get it done when they have a supply of Novocaine and nitrous oxide, and we made sure the kids are all up to date on their doctors and dental and eye exams and
vaccines and shots. And
I mean, even right now, I drive a little POS, I really call them rice burner cars. It gets something like 30, 35 miles to the gallon. It's small. I spent $70 to fill it up. As another gentleman who had a smaller truck right next to me said, he's like, this vehicle doesn't know what $70 is. Like, he's like, I remember, in college, people would pay me a 20, and the 20 would fill the tank, buy a 6-pack of beer, and I was moving. I agree with him. Like, yeah, there was times when I had my small car where it was $20. You pay me $20. That bought me some nice beer and filled the tank with gas, and I helped you move.
yeah, well,
But now you look at the gas pump. I was laughing. Was it you who said you saw the gas pump someone put like $8 in?
I think that was your sister-in-law online.
Was that my sister-in-law? Yeah, that's right. It's my sister-in-law. Someone put $8.
Where are they going for only $8?
And I joked. I said the next gas station. I mean, that's.
Or they are one of those people who are like, okay, I'm going to put it in every time I drive.
Every time I drive, I'll just stick.
That way I never end up getting, I never end up having to pay tons and tons. I'll just fill it up every time I drive somewhere.
Yep. Well, it's we're definitely, this is the pre-World War III, remembers. We do have plenty of food. We do have power. We do have propane. We still have just barely a positive income. That's when it kind of hurt last month. We kind of looked at what we're bringing in versus what's going out, or earlier this month. What's coming and what's going out, and it's close. It's close now. Where before we could just easily buy Christmas gifts or birthday gifts, and we could still put $1 or $2 in the savings. Now that $1 or $2 is coming out of savings for that stuff, and bills are covered. I'm not looking forward to winter.
No.
I keep hearing big trucks, and it gives me a little anxiety that it's the propane truck pulling up to fill up our pig. I hate to tell you and the kids, but that on switch on the furnace it's waiting until November at least. Usually it's in October, sometimes September. Last year it was September it got flicked on. We'll see what happens. So. But anyway, other little memories, points, things you want to bring up before we close out here?
I don't think so.
Yeah, this video will probably be banned on all social media platforms because that's just how it goes.
Well, we hit all the big ones. We talked about the Pope, so Catholicism.
We talked about the Ronas. We talked about prepping. The Russians, the Ukrainians. I might have mentioned that I can see both sides, why they're, why this is happening. So chances are you guys will never see this video. It is not going into the do not publish folder. I do have a folder of that, of stuff where I get ranty and ravey, and I know that'll just get my channel taken down. So this one will thread that line. But, you know, the 50 of you who have subscribed, I might lose a couple of you, but again, I do this more for all posterity purposes, and because I enjoy it. I enjoy sitting down with my wife and having a beer, having a mudslide, having a delicious cigar. We'll try to get her smoking cigars here soon.
Ugh, no, that will never happen.
It might happen.
It will never happen, trust me.
Maybe we'll get you some edibles here soon.
That won't happen.
Shrooms?
No.
Oh, wow. There, we got everything now. We got drugs, we got alcohol, we got cigars, we got all the no-goes, no bad bads, all that good stuff. So anyway, folks, I think we're going to end it there. My storage limit's getting low. Kids got to go to bed. So hope everyone's staying safe out there. Hope you're thinking about what's coming towards the future. And like I told you, you should be doing your Ronas Remember. Maybe you should be doing your World War III Wonders, or wait. Ronas Remember is such a good alliteration. What should WW Wonder, WW Wisdoms?
I don't know. I'd have to think on that.
We got to come up with a better one. Maybe some intellectual international conflicts.
No.
All right, to be continued on that one. I'm going to force my dutiful, wonderful wife to come up with a better descriptor. So anyhow, folks, hope you're having a good one out there. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one.